Welcome you all. Myself S. Karthikeyan, working as a faculty in the Department of Aerospace Engineering at B.S. Abdur Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology. So in this video, we are going to discuss about derivation of momentum equation. I hope at the end of this video, you will be able to get answer for some few questions. So I will read the questions quickly. Why we need the governing equation? Governing equations of fluid dynamics. What is control volume? What is control surface? Then what is infinitesimal fluid element? What is 4 different form of flow models? When we apply integral form of governing equation? When we apply differential form of governing equation? What is substantial derivative? What is local derivative? What is conservative derivative? What is mean by conservation form of governing equation? What is mean by non-conservation form of governing equation? And especially the aim of this video will be the derivation of three-dimensional form of momentum equation. Then we have a small discussion about how to convert momentum equation into Navier-Stokes equation. Then similarly how to convert momentum equation into Navier-Stokes equation with Stokes hypothesis. So these are the things we will be getting answer at the end of this video. Apart from that, I uploaded some video related to this topic like fluid properties, types of line, types of fluid, types of flow, and one of the governing equation of fluid dynamics, that is continuity equations, already uploaded in my video. So if you want to know about these topics, you can watch this video. So this is my channel name Karthikeyan Selvaraj. There you can find some more videos. Now we will come to our exact content of this video. So we are looking for a governing equation derivation, especially for momentum equation. So this is a slide. You will be able to give idea about the importance of governing equation. Whenever you are getting the problem, we are looking for the solution. So we are not going to discuss much about this slide, because to discuss about this slide we have to go deeply. It's not a focus of this video. So our aim is this side will be giving the importance of the governing equation. To get the solution of the problem, we have to start with the governing equation. That idea, it's a fundamental thought of this particular slide. So now we are going to answer for some few questions, especially why we need the governing equation. The governing equation of a mathematical model describes how the values of unknown variables changes when one or more of the known variables changed. So we know the variables, two form of variables, known variable, unknown variable. When we have the known variable, that is changeable known variable, with the help of changeable known variables, we can able to find out unknown variables. So how we can able to find out? By using of the governing equation. So that is the importance of governing equation. Then mainly three type of governing equations applied for the fluid dynamics. Continuity equation because based on the principle mass is conserved, momentum equation based on the principle Newton's second law, and the energy equation based on the principle energy is conserved. So these are the mainly three fundamental governing equations. Apart from that, some equation of state, that also we can call it as a governing equation, but mainly these three are the governing equation of fluid dynamics. Then when you are solving of problems, we need to follow these three steps, is very essential. In obtaining the basic equation of fluid motion, the following philosophy is always followed. The first one, choose the appropriate fundamental physical principle from the law of physics. The second step, apply this principle and this physical principle to a suitable model of the flow. And third one, from this application, extract the mathematical equation which embody such physical principle. The idea is why we need to follow these steps. The first step, what is trying to say, we have to choose any one of these principle. Depends upon the problem, we have to choose any one of these principle. And further side, we are going to discuss about the types of the model. There you will come to know what is the importance of selection of a suitable model. So once you are choosing these principle and model, with the help of these two things, we can able to derive the particular equation. So that is very essential to get the solution of the particular problem. Again, some more important terms. So we have to know about the control volume. The control volume is nothing but an open system which allows transfer of both mass and transfer over a fixed volume. That is called as a control volume. The control volume is a volume in space of spatial interest for particular analysis. The surface of the control volume is referred as control surface, and in a closed surface, the surface is defined with relative to a coordinate system that may be a fixed or movable. Sometimes it may be rotated one. So that is the meaning of the control volume. When you are talking about an open system, the systems will be allowed to transfer of both mass and energy between the system and the surrounding. So in that cases, we are having some definite volume. That volume is called as the control volume. Next one is control mass. So control mass, we are not going to use it here. Anyway, just you understand the difference between control mass and the control volume. That is why I mentioned here. The control mass, a closed system allows only transfer of energy, not a mass. That is called as a control mass. So here we are considering only for the open system. So we are not considering the closed system. The next one, control surface. The surface enclosing the control volume is referred to as the control surface. Infinitesimal small element, generally we call as a fluid element. Okay, hereafter I'm also use the same term, the fluid element or small fluid element. The infinitesimal small element, consider a finite element which may be either fixed or movable along with the flow. So these are the terms you have to remember. So this is the idea. See here, the first top two figures refers the control volume, and the bottom two figures refers the fluid element. So the fluid element, the size is very small. For understanding purpose, the book's also given a somewhat bigger one. The size is very small. This is the control volume. And the models, it's very important because depends upon the model we are getting the equation. Okay, so we are looking for the derivation of governing equation. Governing equation having a different form. It may be integral form, it may be differential form. How we are going to obtain the integral form, differential form, it purely depends upon the types of the model. So we have to listen carefully what are types of model will be available. Okay, so you know very well. So these are the control volume and fluid element. So based on these things only are going to fix the model. So the first model, the control volume fixed in space with fluid moving through it. That is the first volume, first model. The second model, finite control volume moving with the fluid such that the same fluid particles are always inside always the same control volume. See here. So these are two type of model. This is the first model, the second model. In the first model, control volume fixed in space. In the second model, the control volume moving along with the flow. So there is a difference between these two models. So when the control volume fixed in phase, the mass will be entered to the control volume and will be leaving. Okay, the mass will be changeable one. But when your control volume moving along with the flow, the always mass is constant inside the control volume. So that is the main difference between these two cases. Either is a fixed in space or moving along with the flow. So this is the first model, the second model. The same way, the third and fourth model based on the fluid element. The fluid element fixed in space, the fluid element moving along with the flow. The same way. So the third case, the fluid element fixed in space, then fluid element moving along with the flow. Okay, so these are the four important flow models. So depends upon our requirement, we got to choose the model. Now we come to next part, integral form of equation. When you are choosing for the control volume, you will get the integral form of equation because control volume is concentrating on the total of like a summation of something. So we can get the integral form of equation when you are choosing for the control volume. Suppose you need the differential form of equation, then we have to go for the approaches of fluid element. Okay, so depends upon the requirement, you have to choose either control volume or fluid element. When I'm using the fluid element, I will get differential form of equation. When I'm using control volume, I will get the integral form of equation. Then when we can say the conservation form or non-conservation form of equation, again it depends upon the models. See here, the equation is called conservation form. So when it is called conservation form, maybe either control volume or fluid element. The both cases, if it is in fixed in space, okay, it may be in the control volume or maybe in the fluid element. If it is fixed in space, that is called conservation form. If it is moving along with the flow, then that is called non-conservation form. So this is the difference between conservation and non-conservation form. So from this slide we can able to understand what are the different type of flow model will be available. Similarly, depends upon the approaches when I will get integral form of equation, differential form of equation. Similarly, the meaning of conservation form and non-conservation form. Subsequently, some more terms. Substantial derivative. Okay, so what is the importance of substantial derivative? Because we already saw we are going to fix it in space or moving along with the fluid. If it is fixed in space, we have a quantity, that is a mass is entering the fluid volume or fluid element. Okay, then we can able to get the idea. So what is the changes in the mass? But if it is in flow along with the fluid, for example, flow along with the fluid either in the control volume or fluid element, okay, the changes of the mass is more negligible, at 0. So anyway, we need to find out the parameter. In these cases, we need to apply the concept of conservative derivative, substantial derivative. We need to apply the concept of substantial derivative. So that is the importance of substantial derivative. Substantial derivative generally we are denoted by capital D by dt. It is an important concept in fluid mechanics which describes the changes of fluid element by physical property such as temperature, density and velocity component of the flowing fluid along its trajectory or space or flow, all are same. So this is the way we can able to expand our substantial derivative. Substantial derivative is a combination of two terms. The first one, dou by dou t, it is called as a local derivative, and another term v dot delta, okay, v dot delta is called as your convective derivative. So generally substantial derivative, how we can say, is nothing but a summation of or combination of local derivative and convective derivative. Okay, now we want to know what is the meaning of local derivative. Local derivative is nothing but the rate of change of quantity with respect to time at a fixed point of the fluid, that is called as a local derivative. Suppose if I am taking dou f means any physical parameter. So dou f by dou t, it is related to the individual derivative through the expression where f is the thermodynamic property, it may be in the density, temperature, anything. Okay, like that way we can able to express local derivative. Next one, convective derivative. A derivative taken with respect to the moving coordinate systems, also called a Lagrangian derivative. So you know there are two type of approaches, Lagrangian approaches and Artin approaches. So here Lagrangian approaches will be applied because you are concentrating only on the element, a particular particle. So when you are concentrating on the particular particle, the type of flow approach is called as a Lagrangian derivative. Okay, so it is given by where it is gradient operator and it is velocity of the fluid. This type of the derivative is especially useful in the study of fluid mechanics. So this is the expansion of convective derivative. So del dot v is nothing but 1 by dou v into d dou v divided by dt. So this is the expansion of your convective derivative. The meaning of the convective derivative is nothing but physically the time rate of change of volume of the moving fluid element per unit volume. So that is the meaning of your convective derivative. So this slide will be giving some more idea about the meaning of your total approach of governing equation. So we know that there are three steps. The first step, you have to choose the physical principle. So either mass is conserved or Newton's second law, that is momentum equation, then energy is conserved or energy equation. So you have to choose the first physical principle, then we have to choose the model. Okay, then we have to choose the model. So what are the models available? Control volume fixed in space, control volume moving along with the flow. The same way, fluid element fixed in space or fluid element moving along with the flow. So depends upon the cases. If I am taking the control volume fixed in space, automatically I will get integral form of equation. It is fixed in space, automatically called as a conservative form of equation. So like that we can able to correlate the name of the equation. So I am taking for control volume integral form. fixed in space is a conservative equation. So based on that cases, we can able to say it's a continuity equation or momentum equation or energy equation, because we are choosing the principle first, then model, then we can say what type of equations we arrived. Not only for the particular form of equation, we can able to convert governing equation from the momentum equation to continuity equation to momentum equation. That type of things we can able to change. Similarly, for integral equation to integral form to differential form to integral form also we can able to convert. So once you are able to obtain all those things, finally we get the solution of your CFD. So CFD nothing but computational fluid dynamics. It's an advanced course of your fluid mechanics. Now exactly come to our derivation part. So we are going to discuss about momentum. So generally momentum is called as mass time into velocity. That is what generally we are saying. Okay. So in these cases also we are going to follow the principle Newton's second law. Okay, Newton's second law, F is equal to ma, that we are going to follow as a principle of deriving momentum equation. We are familiar with it. There are 4 type of fluid model. Okay, in these cases we are going to take a 4th model. So in this case we are going to take a 4th model, that is nothing but the fluid element moving along with the flow. So read the line carefully, the moving fluid element model. So that is our 4th case, that what we see in the picture. This is a 4th case. Okay, the 4th case, fluid element moving along with the flow. So that case we are considering for deriving of our momentum equation. Okay, so based on that one we are going to derive. So here we are going to consider the first x component of forces. So generally we are for our understanding purpose we are able to make it a 3 component, x component, y component, z component. Okay, so from the vector to scalar component, when you are converting vector to scalar component, so 3 coordinates we have to consider. So based on that thing we are going to consider x component of forces. What are the x component of forces are applied here in this equation. So for deriving of this equation we need to follow the 3 steps. So just I am calling it part 1, part 2 and part 3. So this is a principle F is equal to ma. So we are going to consider only for the x component of the forces, that is why the x letters arrives. Okay, so the first part we are going to consider the forces applied for the fluid element. What are the forces applied for the fluid element, that we are going to consider as a part number 1. Then part number 2, the mass time. So mass time we are going to consider for the part 2, and part 3 acceleration time. So these are the things you are going to follow. Automatically when you are equating F is equal to ma, that is part 1 equal to part 2 into part 3, you will get the momentum equation. So this is the exact picture for your deriving of momentum equation. Okay, so we will discuss frequently. So you have to pause the video and familiar with what are the terms involved for the particular fluid element. Okay, so we will come later. So before that we had discussed some more thing. So the first part, that is force consideration. So part 1 we are going to consider the force consideration. So when you are talking about the fluid element moving along with the flow, there are 2 major type of forces we are consider. The first one is body force. Body force is nothing but which act directly on the volumetric mass of the fluid element. These forces act as a distance. Examples of these type of forces: gravitational force, electric force and magnetic force. So these type of the forces called as a body force. The next one, surface force, which act directly on the surface of the fluid element. They are due to 2 reasons. Okay, the first reason is the pressure distribution acting on the surfaces imposed by the outside fluid surrounding the fluid element. Then second one, the shear and normal stresses distribution acting on the surface also imposed by the outside fluid on the surface by means of friction. Okay, so the sentence may be a lengthy one, so it's very simple. The surface forces because of the pressure and viscous, that's all. So just you are giving the explanation. Okay, so you have to remember very easily the surface forces because of the pressure and because of the viscous, it appears on the surfaces. Okay, so see here we are considering 2 type of forces. First one is body force and surface force. So this is the body force. So body force act throughout the body. Example, gravitational force, electromagnetic force. These are the example of body forces. The surface forces, the first one pressure force, the second one viscous force. Again viscous force we can say normal stress and shear stress. Okay, you have to listen carefully. Force, body force, surface force. Surface force again because of the pressure and the viscous effect. Pressure force, a single component directly is acting towards to the fluid element. But viscous force, there are two type. It's act on the surfaces. Okay, so normal stress and shear stress. So we have to consider all those forces for deriving of the force consideration. So we are going to obtain the body forces and surface forces with available parameter. So understanding of derivation, again this table column will be helpful for you. So first one, the body force per unit mass. We are considering the body force. So body force per unit mass, that is symbol for Fx, because we are considering only for the x component. The unit will be Newton per kg. The next one, automatically you are looking only for the body force. You know very well, the unit of force is nothing but Newton. Okay, here the body force per unit mass, that is why kg term comes. So when you are looking for the body force, how we can able to obtain the body force with available parameter? So we know that we are having the parameter density, force per unit mass and volume. So these are things we have. So when you are multiplying these things, automatically we will get the body force term. Okay, so density unit kg per meter cube, force per unit mass Newton per kg, volume meter cube. You cancel the common term, automatically you will get the answer Newton. So we can able to get the body force by using of these three parameters. That is the idea, because based on this only we are deriving the whole derivation. The next one, similarly pressure force. So pressure, the unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. Okay, the unit of pressure is Newton per meter square, but nothing but load by area or force by area. Here we are looking for the pressure force. The pressure force is nothing but Newton. So how we are going to obtain the Newton value? As usual, we are multiplying with the pressure into area. The unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. When you are multiplying with area meter square, the common term will be get cancelled. Automatically Newton will be arrive. Okay, that is called as a pressure force. Similarly, viscous force. So viscous force we are considering here two type of viscous force. The first one shear force, another one is normal force. So shear stress and another one is normal stress. Okay, anyway the unit will be common, Newton. Shear stress or normal stress, Newton per meter square into area. So automatically you will get the viscous force. So these are things you have to get familiarized to derive our momentum equation. So is the first part we are going to consider force consideration. So in the force consideration, the first one is body force. So the body force on the fluid element acting on the x direction, automatically rho into body force per unit mass into volume. So this is here density, force per unit mass into volume. So when I multiplying these things, I will be able to get the body force. So now the body force term is over. See here, this is the term. Body force term is over. Okay. Now we are going to consider about surface forces. So surface forces, again the two cases, pressure force and viscous force. So now we are discussing about viscous force. Viscous force, again the two things, shear stress and normal stress. Okay, what is the need to understand shear stress and normal stress? Shear stress is happening because of it is related to the time rate of change of shearing the deformation. Similarly, the normal stress related to the time rate of change of volume. So that is why we are considering of shear stress and normal stress. So this is a timbal. When it is shear stress, tau xy. Okay, when it is normal stress, tau xx. So normal stress means exactly parallel to the particular axis. If I am considering the x-axis, automatically double x will come. If I am considering the y-axis, double y will come. When I am considering z-axis, double z will come. Then how I can able to understand xy? So this is the explanation. Okay, so tau ij, this is a common term. Okay, you can say this is xy. So this is a meaning of your shear stress term. It denotes the stress in the j direction exerted on the plane perpendicular to the I axis. The first term represents which axis exactly perpendicular, and the second term represent the direction. Okay, so like that we have to remember for the shear stress. Okay, shear stress acting perpendicular to this axis and acting on the particular direction. This is the meaning of the particular notation of the shear stress. Okay, so now we go for next slide. See here, this is a diagram. Now we have some idea. So we are going to consider the force term. The force term, especially body force, is over. Now we are talking about surface force. The surface force, first one, pressure force. See, this is a pressure force. So pressure force, how we can able to calculate? Multiply with the pressure into area. Okay, there is a pressure, area, dy dz. So this is a fluid element having a dimension of dx, dy, dz, unit dimension. So this is a x, y, z axis. Okay, automatically when you're talking about the faces, there are 6 faces. Okay, left, so this is called left face, and this is called right face, and this is called front face, and this is called back face, and this is called bottom face, and this is called top face. Okay, there are 6 faces is available. Corresponding letters also will be given, A, B, C, D, like that. You can able to easily understand by giving the area, by denoting the letters. Okay, then based on that one we are going to consider the what are the pressure forces and shear stress and normal forces acting on the particular fluid element. So you have to remember, this is only for the x direction. It is only for the x direction. Okay, so now this part is over. Okay, so body force is over. We are looking for the pressure force, surface force, pressure force and viscous force. So this is explanation of the viscous force. So pressure force we can able to take directly. Again, next slide. So this is our picture. For our easily understanding, I have given the small version. The next slide will be available for the bigger one. Okay, you can pause the video and you familiarize all the terms. For your understanding purpose, I made this tabular column. Okay, so simultaneously I given for the picture in a small size. So now we are concentrating x component forces acting on the particular fluid element. Okay, so this is a fluid element moving along with the flow. We are considering only for the x component of the forces. So what are the forces? Body force and surface force. Body force, previous slide we derived. Now we are concentrating on the surface force. Surface force also pressure and viscous force. So pressure force, see here, this is a pressure force. The pressure force, I am concentrating on the direction. You have to watch very carefully direction of the forces. The pressure force always acting into the fluid element. Okay, see here, this is my left area. See here, the faces, left face. The tabular column I am mentioning the faces, corresponding area, and whether that particular faces experiencing shear stress or normal stress. The whole thing I make it in the tabular column. Okay, the faces, area, shear stress or normal stress. Okay, then similarly the pressure force for the particular faces. Now we are considering the left force of the particular fluid element. The left face we are considering. The left face, the letter is ADHI. Okay, the left face. First we are considering the pressure force. The pressure force, see the direction, it acting into the fluid element. So normal towards x direction. That is why you have the positive plus x. Then the corresponding here, right face. In the right face we are getting the another pressure force. Okay, so the pressure is traveling this distance, automatically the changes in the pressure also we consider. That is why we are having dou p by dou x, the changes in the pressure with respect to direction dx. Okay, that is happening for the dimension of the fluid element dx. Okay, then automatically area dy dz. Okay, that is why we are considering the right face of the particular fluid element. This pressure force will be P plus dou P by dou X into dx. This is the pressure term and this is the area term dy dz. So this whole area, this area is called as dy dz. Okay, so this is the meaning of your pressure force. So these pressure force acting on the left hand side, left face and right face. That is why I exactly given for the left face plus x minus x. See here, the pressure acting into the fluid element, positive x direction. This pressure again, always you keep in mind, pressure acting into the fluid element, but it is in the negative x direction. That is why I'm putting minus x. Okay, the direction is very, very important, otherwise the equation will be in some other form. Okay, you have to watch very carefully. Now the pressure forces are over. Now you come for the viscous forces. The viscous forces, again, first one, normal stress. Okay, that is why we are considering the left hand side. We are experiencing normal stress. Okay, so stress into area, so tau xx. So normal stress automatically tau xs, because the first x represents axis perpendicular and the second x represents direction. That is what we discussed in the last slide. Okay, so automatically tau xx area dy dz. Similarly, right hand side, see here, now the left face normal stress x direction away from the normal x. That is why we are getting minus x. Okay, see here, the left face minus x for normal stress. See the direction also. So this is a normal stress, it is acting away from the x-axis, so minus direction. So minus direction x-axis. So that is why I am putting left face minus x. So this is the quantity. Stress into normal stress into area. The same way we have to consider for right hand side, changes in the normal stress. Okay, changes in the normal stress. See the tabular column, right hand side, positive x direction. Positive x direction, this is the area, again normal direction, because we are considering only for the x direction. So normal stress also be in the x direction only. That is why we are getting tau xx. Tau xx, then similarly plus dou tau xx by dou x dx dy dz. So this is the term. So changes in the normal stress and the area. So stress in the area, it gives the force. So this is for your normal stress. Now we are talking about shear stress. Okay, so shear stress, the first we are considering the bottom side. So bottom side, what is the shear stress? So this is the bottom side. So this is bottom side. Okay, again negative x direction. This is that value. Bottom side negative x direction. That is why bottom side minus x. Okay, see here, shear stress. That is why tau yx. Tau yx. Okay, x is direction, y is the shear stress acting perpendicular to y axis. Okay, this is the bottom we are considering. So when you consider the bottom, okay, the bottom exactly perpendicular to the y direction. This is y. This is y axis. Okay, the bottom surface exactly perpendicular to the y axis. That is why the first term y comes. Since we are considering the x direction, so automatically the shear stress acting in the x direction only. The x may be positive or negative, so that is why the second term x comes. So here we are considering minus x, because the bottom shear stress acting negative x direction. So that is the meaning of your symbol tau yx. So this is normal shear stress corresponding area. The bottom faces having the area dx dz. Okay, then once we complete the bottom, then we have to come for the top. So this is the top. So top faces having the shear stress. Okay, the corresponding value given. The top faces, see the direction, top faces shear stress positive x direction. So I am given the positive x direction, top positive x direction, area, then changes in the shear stress as usual like a previous case, then area, corresponding area. Then you come for the back side. So back side, this is the back side, negative x direction, okay, back side. So this area perpendicular to the z axis. So back and the front is perpendicular to the z axis. That is why z term come first. Okay, z term come first. Okay, and the back, when you consider the back, z term come first, then the axis is, the direction is x direction, so automatically second term x arrives. Okay, when you consider the back, face shear stress tau zx, then area dx dy. The direction is negative x axis, so I put negative x. Then now you consider front portion. So the front portion, this is the front portion. So this is the front portion. Okay, positive x direction. So positive x direction, corresponding changes. So this is the surface stress acting on the front page of your fluid element. Okay, so you have to spend some time on this particular page because this is very important. In the single slide we are concentrating on pressure force as well as viscous force. Viscous force, again two cases, normal stress and shear stress. Okay, all those things we are considering the single slide. Okay, so you have to spend some time because it's a very difficult to teach a teacher without blackboard of explaining this particular derivation. I am trying by maximal level. Okay, you spend some time to understand this particular slide. It's very important. So you are not able to see the letters of this particular picture. That is why I expanded this picture. So you can pause this video, you make a drawing on your paper and you familiar with all these terms is very essential. So now we are coming for the next area. So now we are completing it all the forces. So total net surface forces in x direction is nothing but pressure force and viscous force. So viscous force we are considering normal stress and shear stress. All those things we are writing in this way, and we have to do some mathematical simplification. Then again we have to consider for the total force in the x direction. The total force we have to consider because this is only for the net surface force. So we know the total force nothing but body force and surface force. So the total force in the x direction is nothing but summation of body force plus surface force. Surface force only we have pressure force and viscous force. So when you are combining all those things, you will get the answer like this. So this is the only final form of part 2a. I mean part 1. So we have the 3 part. Okay, I will show that slide. So this we have the 3 part. The part 1, the force consideration, that only we are completed right now. Okay, the part 2, part 3 are very simple. You don't worry. So part 1 only we have to give more concentration because so many terms are involved. So this is the equation for total forces acting on the fluid element. Now we are going for the second part 2, that is a mass consideration. So when you consider the mass, we have to familiar with these terms. So we are looking for the mass. Automatically the unit of mass is nothing but kg. So that is equal to density into volume. The unit of density is kg per meter cube, volume is meter cube. So common term will be get cancelled, you will get kg. Similarly for acceleration unit is nothing but meter per second square, is nothing but velocity per time. We can able to get this particular term. So we are going to equate these terms to replace with the mass and acceleration. So part 2, mass consideration. So we can able to get directly mass of the fluid element fixed and it is equal to density into volume. Density symbol is rho and volume dx, dy and dz. That is the equation for your part 2. That is a mass consideration. Then part 3, acceleration consideration. For considering acceleration, recall that acceleration of the fluid element is the time rate of change of it, simply the time rate of change of velocity u, because we are considering only x component. So x component velocity u. Suppose we are considering the y component, z component, automatically v and w term will come. We are concentrating only on the x component, so that is why we are concentrating only on the u. Okay, since we are following the moving fluid element, this time rate of change is given by the substantial derivative. Okay, that is what we discussed the very starting. Okay, so since the fluid element moving along with the flow, okay, we need to introduce the concept of substantial derivative. So acceleration we can able to write in the form of ax equal to du by dt. When combining x direction of forces, mass and acceleration term, because the previous slide we derived the force term, that is a part 1. So this slide we derived the total force term, that is part 1. This slide we derived the part 2, the mass term, and again part 3, acceleration term. When you are combining all these things, you will get the equation like this. Okay, so rho du by dt equal to minus rho p by rho x plus dou tau xx by dou x plus dou tau yx divided by dou y plus dou tau zx divided by dou z plus rho fx. So this is the equation we are getting. Remember, this is the equation only for the consideration of x direction. Okay, the same way you have to draw the another one more diagram, another two diagram. Okay, so here like this. So here we are concentrating only on the x-axis, x direction. The same way you need to draw the y direction forces, especially for pressure and viscous forces, and z direction pressure and viscous forces. When again you have to repeat the same procedure, and you will get the answer like this. So this is for y direction equation, and this is for z direction equation. So generally these three equation is called as the momentum equation. X-axis momentum equation, y-axis momentum equation, and z-axis momentum equation for especially for viscous flow. Okay, so up to this we are completing momentum equation derivation. So we have to know some key points. Note that there are partial differential equation obtained directly from an application of the fundamental physical principle to an fluid element, infinitesimally small fluid element. Moreover, since this fluid element is moving with the flow equation are in non-conservation form, because the fluid elements moving along with the flow, so we know very well that is a form of non-conservation. They are scalar equations and are called Navier-Stokes equation. It is a honor of two Frenchmen, Navier and Stokes, who independently obtained the equation in the first half of the 19th century. Okay, so we derived the equation that is in non-conservation form. So now we are going to convert into conservation form. So that is, we are giving the tribute to the Navier and Stokes. There are two scientists, they are derived the same form of equation. So now we are discussing about how to convert our momentum equation into Navier-Stokes equation. Okay, so previously we derived the momentum equation of x-axis, x direction, y direction and z direction. Now we are going to derive or obtain Navier-Stokes equation from the momentum equation. So left hand side of the momentum equation, that is your mass and acceleration time, we can able to change in this form. Okay, so writing the left hand side of the equation in terms of definition of substantive derivative, we have this particular form. We can able to expand it. Again also expand in this way. Okay, we have to do some rearrangements. Okay, we are expanding in this way, some rearrangement. Then we are introducing the concept of divergence, especially divergence with vector identity for the divergence of the product of scalar times. Okay, so now we are able to convert the vector product into scalar form by using of your divergence quantity. So that is why we are introducing this particular concept. Okay, that's the meaning we are introducing this concept, because this is why we are able to obtain your Navier-Stokes equation, because we are having some particular form. This particular form almost equal to your continuity equation form. So you can check with the previous video, there we are derived the continuity equation. So this particular form will be almost equal to the continuity equation. So the common terms or forms or other things will be able to eliminate. Then we can able to get the Navier-Stokes equation for the particular case. So these are the Navier-Stokes equation. So Navier-Stokes equation for the conservation form. So conservation form means we are cancelling the terms, bracket terms. This is bracket terms. We are cancelling the bracket terms. Why we are cancelling? Because we are considering now the fluid element fixed in space. While deriving the momentum equation, we are considering fluid element moving along with flow. By adopting the idea behind the continuity equation, then automatically we can able to cancel the bracket term. Now the equation becomes the fluid element fixed in space, then that is called as a conservation form. So now these three equations represents Navier-Stokes equation for x direction, y direction and z direction. Okay, you have to remember this is for conservation form. Our momentum equation is non-conservation form. Again, last topic, the Navier-Stokes equation with Stokes hypothesis. This is called Stokes hypothesis. Why we need to bother about Stokes hypothesis? Because we have the two approaches in fluid mechanics, Newtonian fluid and non-Newtonian fluid. Newtonian fluid exactly follow the principle like Newton's law of viscosity is nothing but the shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain. I mean rate of velocity gradient. Okay, the shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of velocity gradient. So when the fluid is follow this particular principle, then it is called as a Newtonian fluid. Some of the fluid may not be follow this particular principle, then that is called non-Newtonian fluid. So this type of equation will be helpful for that type of the fluid. So for that purpose, we are introducing the Navier-Stokes equation hypothesis, okay, with Stokes hypothesis. So this is called Stokes hypothesis. We are going to replace with delta mu with a particular form, okay. These are the relation between mu and tau. So this is a relation between mu and tau, especially for normal stress and shear stress. So we have to replace these terms with a particular form of equation. So in the Navier-Stokes equation, we have shear stress form, either in the normal stress or shear stress. We are going to replace with the normal stress and shear stress with this particular form. Then we will get then another equation that is called Navier-Stokes equation with the full form. Okay, this is a complete form of Navier-Stokes equation. Okay, so these equations with the implementation of your Stokes hypothesis, you can see here we are able to see the Stokes hypothesis. So when you compare the previous Navier-Stokes equation, so you have see the shear stress or normal stress term tau. The tau will be available. Okay, this is a normal Stokes equation, a Navier-Stokes equation. Here the shear stress or normal stress, the tau term will be available. Here we are replacing that term with the Stokes hypothesis. So here we cannot able to find the any normal stress or shear stress. So in place of normal stress or shear stress, you are using the viscosity coefficient. Okay, so this is the full form of Navier-Stokes equation. Okay, still so many research is going on getting the exact result for the particular equation. This is one of the most complicated form of equation in fluid dynamics. Okay, up to this we are discussing about so many things like flow models, momentum equation principle, then momentum equation derivation, Navier-Stokes equation, and Navier-Stokes equation with the Stokes hypothesis. So these are the references I followed, especially most of the pictures and derivations I referred as a computational fluid dynamics, and some of the topic I referred for fundamental of aerodynamics by Anderson, similarly fluid mechanics by White. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. So thank you once again.